Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well. I been having an interesting discussion today, and it's funny. I'll open it up to anybody out there in the YouTubeverse as well. If you can provide me any type of official, and I'm saying official as in a .gov source, if you can provide me with an official source anywhere that there is a such thing as a DEFCON rating, give it to me. You know, I am wrong from time to time. It happens with every single one of us. But something that I am not often is wrong twice, especially about the same thing. And so I took it that the DEFCON thing was a real deal. I bought it lock, stock, and barrel just like anybody else that watched the movie War Games. That is where DEFCON comes from. The movie War Games. There is no official DEFCON source. There is no official DEFCON rating. There is I think it's like FP-Con or something like that, but it's not DEFCON. And anyway, it came up, somebody had made a post and was giving an update on the DEFCON level. Their claim is that it went down to 2. It's only been down to, well, we've only been at that level. There is no DEFCON level, but we've only been at a readiness level that would be comparable to what 2 is described as one time in the history of this country, and that was during the Cuban Missile Crisis. One time. And again, that's by the definition of DEFCON level 2. There is no official DEFCON level, so if anybody can show me an official source that mentions DEFCON, or, you know, there's got to be signs or something with all the internet and cameras and phones and stuff these days. There's got to be some type of a picture of a DEFCON alert level sign somewhere on the internet. There's got to be. I mean, think of the billions with a B, the billions and billions of images uploaded to the internet. Millions daily. There's got to be a picture of the DEFCON sign somewhere. Just one. Right? Right. 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 Huh. It's amazing the things that people will assume as true just because they hear it over and over and over. There is no government official DEFCON level. Are there government official alert readiness levels? Abso-freaking-lutely, but they ain't called DEFCON and never were. Yeah. I had somebody years ago tell me that I was wrong, that there was no such thing as a DEFCON level, and I went out on a quest to prove them wrong. And guess who I proved wrong? Myself. Because there is no official DEFCON level for the U.S. government military. It doesn't exist. So, just letting you know. I mean, that's fine if you want to talk in terms to have some kind of an idea of whether or not we should put on the helmet, then that's fine. But don't cast it off as something that it's not. It's not government. It's not official. It's not anything but some cat with a website. Well, several cats with websites, because there's more than one site. That just, you know, put out their opinion based on how things are going. Much like the doomsday clock, actually. Not any different than that. I have just as much respect for those that put out the DEFCON levels as I do for those that do the doomsday clock. So, I'm not dissing on anyone. But it's important that we understand that we can live our entire lives believing something to be true when it's not. And I think it's really important that folks Really think about that, because I think there are going to be a lot of curtains that are pulled down. I think there are a lot of masks going to be pulled off, so to speak, in due time, in very near due time. Going to be crazy. I forgot to do it yesterday. I did ask the AI for a monologue yesterday, and I forgot to do it. I do have a new monologue that is meant for today, which I will get to. But I wanted to speak a little bit about, basically like what I titled the show after. Look, folks, I don't cherry coat things. I'm not into games. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. We're screwed. Plain and simple. There is no other way. I've talked about my odd brain several times on the show, and one of the things that it does is it will look at a problem, and without me putting any conscious thought or effort into that, my mind subconsciously will work out that problem and give me the answer. It does it all the time, every day. It does it. And my brain has just been absolutely scouring the possibilities when it comes to situations in the United States involving the economy, involving military. And there is no good way forward. No matter what, we're going to lose the dollar's ranking globally. That's in the process of happening, and it's just a limited time thing at this point before we don't even use the word petrodollar. That alone will sink this nation. Just that alone. If China were to decide to, call up on all our debt to them, that alone would be enough. There are several different things economically that if that one single event happened, it would sink the entire currency. That is what we are looking at. That's the realistic look at what we are staring in the face of. The loss of the U.S. dollar in every aspect. As far as reserve currency, as far as, something commonly used in trade, all of it. And then we're going to have to figure out how the hell to add value to that. Because, we're kind of at the whims of others when it comes to that, right? I'm pretty sure if you and your buddy Bob got together and decided you wanted to print up some currency, I'm not saying trying to copy actual, I'm not saying that. Not counterfeit, no. You're coming up with your own currency. Let's say you take some bills out of your Monopoly game and you stamp Bob on them, and that's going to be Bob's bucks, right? I'm pretty sure that once you got that organized on any level, and word got out to the feds about Bob's bucks, they're going to be visiting Bob with some bucks of their own. And Bob's probably going to go away for a long time. Why? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. That's between Bob and anybody that wants his bucks, in my opinion. But that is not how the federal government looks at it. So we are stuck with whatever the hell, unless we barter. Of course, we can barter back and forth, but you wait. They're going to have something for that, too. I mean, come on. I don't know about where you folks live, but I know there's some towns around here that if you have a yard sale, you have to go to City Hall and get a permit for your yard sale. And then at the end of your yard sale, you have to go take your ledger with what you made to City Hall and pay taxes on the money that you brought in on your yard sale. You know, that stuff that you'd already paid taxes on when you bought it brand new at the store and brought it home? Yeah. What was that about double taxes? I can't remember. But anyway, we're at their whim. Plain and simple. I mean, yeah, you can argue it just as much as you can argue paying income tax. Doesn't mean they're not going to show up at your door and throw your ass in jail, though. That's a real thing. Try to create your own currency and see what happens. Much the same, I assure you. So we're going to be stuck with whatever deal it is that they decide to give us. And I don't know, just curious, do you think that they're going to give us a good deal? Think they're going to make it fair? You think they're going to make it worthy, truly worthy to us? No, they're not. Just like when they did it before, and just like when they took it off the gold standard. No, we're at their whim. They don't have good plans for us. Now, I'm just talking about the economy, as if there wasn't even big conflicts going on across the pond. I don't see a positive way forward. I'm not telling you this because I want to fearmonger. I want you to go out and buy this. I want you to use this link to go get that. I just want you to understand what the future truly looks like. See, there's a lot of people, especially in the prepping community, that has these prepper fantasies. I don't know where the hell, I guess, I don't know, movies, I guess. I don't know where they get it from. I'm urging them, and I have many, many times, to go actually, I don't know, do some damn research, and look at what's really happened in history when these things have happened. Yeah. It's amazing, though. It's amazing. You can't sell as many plate carriers that way is what it is. You really can't when you start talking about the amount of people that die from disease and stuff like that. It starts making all the gunfighting look a little less dominant in the situation. In fact, the gunfighting really isn't that dominant at all in the situation. It's amazing. It's amazing. Going to be a lot of people out there that spent a whole lot of money on toys that are going to wish they would have spent more on food. That's a fact. This isn't going to be some big purge night to kick this off. There are events that could happen that would certainly lead us that direction. But I'm talking about the economy here. Not talking about the grid going down. Not talking about an EMP. Not talking about major cities getting nuked. I'm talking about the economy. And a continued deterioration of the economy. You're not going to have this overnight just change into SHTF. I would argue that we're already in SHTF and we've been in SHTF, but it's not a definitive thing. It's not something that, one day you wake up and, now today is SHTF. That's not how it is, and it's going to be different levels for different ones of us. You may be doing fine. You may not have a worry in the world with your job. You may not have worry in your world with your preps. Got a good vacation plan. Not going to be the same as somebody else who's figuring out how they can afford another 20-pound bag of rice to put back. We're all in a different spot here. But it's not gonna be something that we need to focus more on our defense forces. No, we need to focus on what we're going to do to make sure that we can feed ourselves and our families for the duration of whatever the hell it is that they've got for us. But I guarantee you this, when the dust settles, the United States will not be a first world nation. I know that's a lot to swallow, but it's true. And that's something that we need to get ready for, something that we need to prepare for, and something that we really need to mentally engage. We've got a rough time coming, and I think it's going to be largely exacerbated by the conflicts that are going on. I think that we haven't even seen the beginning of supply chain issues yet, but I think we're about to. Hang on, strap in, buckle up. It's going to be a hell of a ride. I've got, I don't know how many tabs, I don't know, like 10 tabs, 10, 11 tabs, something like that open. It's a fair amount. Awesome, man. I just looked up at the chat. Yeah. Rice, I mean, we've been hitting that too and getting the 20-pound bags of just the cheap value from Walmart, or the great value, just the cheap stuff from Wally World. But I don't know. I think we got about 7 bags now. And then I've got some that I vacuum sealed in 1-pound packages in a tote. Well, in and on the tote. But put back as much as you can and have your plan forward figured out. No matter how it is, even if you don't have the property, make sure you put back things like seeds and stuff like that, because please understand that what your situation is right now may change dramatically by the time that we get very deep into this, meaning you could be in a different place, a different living space. You know, that's why when I talk to folks about like the solar generators, and I know I hate calling them that, but when I talk to folks about those, I always advise them that, you know, look, if you're going to go out and spend an enormous fortune, right, take a good look at your situation, because you can buy your regular household solar gear, your equipment, for a lot cheaper, really, and wind up with a better system than buying those cute little nice packaged up pretty boxes that are rather expensive. If you don't absolutely need that portability, then you want to build a system. You don't want to pay more to have something that's an all-in-one, that if one of the components fails, the entire thing is done. Doesn't even make sense. It's not logical or practical. But if you have a portable need, and that is why we went that route, okay, with the Delta 1300 and the River, because if something really does happen big, I don't know where we're going to be. Plain and simple. Let me just throw this out at you. Let's say a year from now, a complete year from now. Let's say a situation drastically changes in this country. Let's say that as a result of the situation, there is a pretty large loss of life. Gonna be an awful lot of homes coming up empty. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to sit here in a rinky-dink house with no way to heat it with wood or anything like that if I can move my stuff to another home that's now vacant, that's got a wood stove or a fireplace or what have you, and a little bit more room for us to be able to work. So that's why I choose portability for my situation. If I was a homeowner, or if I was renting a place with a good landlord that I could trust and rely, which we have that part. However, the home itself, while it's ideal in some areas, preparedness-minded wise, I guess, or preparedness-wise, there's other aspects it's not. There's not much room. It's got electric heat. I mean, it's concrete block, not much insulation. It's not necessarily what I would call ideal. So you have to take your situation. But if I were in a place that was more permanent, then I most certainly would have built a system. I mean, when you can compare it, it's like apples and oranges. It really is. All right. Okay. I guess I'll read this monologue thingy real quick that the Chat GPT put out, and I've actually got them in the headlines tonight as well. This is the headline that it spit out for today. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Watchman News, your source for up-to-the-minute, unbiased news and analysis. It makes me feel special. Tonight, we bring you the latest on the ongoing economic crisis that has affected millions of people worldwide. Despite some attempts by government to revive the economy, many countries are still grappling with high levels of unemployment, a decrease in consumer spending, and an overall decrease in economic activity. However, there are some glimmers of hope on the horizon. The rise of new technologies such as artificial intelligence, yeah, it had to throw itself in there, you notice that? And renewable energy has opened up new avenues for growth and investment. Many experts believe that these industries will play a key role in the economic recovery and the creation of new jobs. Well, you mean the elimination of new jobs? Because, yeah, AI, that's an amazing tool. It's an amazing tool and can be used to make advancements never imaginable. Or it could be used to destroy about anything you set its mind to. That's the part I'm concerned of. Anyway, continuing. In other news, tensions remain high in the Middle East as a result of the ongoing conflict in Syria. The situation remains complex, with a range of international and regional actors involved and no clear solution in sight. Despite the challenges, there is always a reason to be optimistic. As a society, we have faced difficult times before, and we have always emerged stronger. We must continue to work together, support one another, and strive for progress, no matter what obstacles may arise. This has been the Watchman News. Stay tuned for more updates and analysis, and remember to keep your eyes on the world. Good night. I mean, not bad, though. I mean, that is, man, that is impressive. And all I do every morning, I ask it the very same question every morning. In fact, I copy and paste it. I don't even ask it a question. I demand it. I tell it what to do. It's my bitch. I'd say, write a monologue for the Watchman News show this evening. I don't even say please. Just do it. You're a machine. Do it. Can't wait to see what it says to me tomorrow. It'll probably schedule me a proctology appointment and a cab ride and everything. I won't even know what the hell's going on. Somebody come up my door saying, I'm supposed to take you. I guess it's the AI's way of calling me an asshole. I don't know. Still don't know why I didn't make it into any of the really good schools. Sure, I was qualified. Anyway, that's more qualified than Hunter Biden, that's for sure. Let's see. And he gets to do energy deals and possibly biolab deals, and I'm an Amazon affiliate. Anyway, let me continue and quit being an idiot. Well, I'll never quit being an idiot. Who am I kidding? Another tech giant announces layoffs. As if we haven't heard about enough of these yet. Oh, yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch that, Steve. I had actually brought it up and was getting ready to, and I haven't had a chance to actually do it. So, I will watch that, though. Let's see. Oh, yeah, other updates. Still waiting on the goodies from the beta testing, so... I'm anxious. I'm like a little kid, and I've never been a really patient person, and that I know that strikes a lot of people as odd because they see me have patience with a lot of stuff. That's him. I'm not and never have been a patient person. So if you experience patience, you thank the Father, not me. I remember that I was warned at one time, don't ask the Father to teach you patience. But it was too late. Too late. Anyway, another tech giant announces layoffs. American multinational financial technology company, or PayPal, has announced a wave of layoffs that will impact some 2,000 employees, joining a slew of tech firms announcing job cuts aimed at reducing costs. The decision to cut around 7% of its global workforce will help address the challenging macroeconomic environment, President and CEO Dan Schulman wrote in his message to his employees published on Tuesday. Change can be difficult, particularly when it includes valued colleagues and friends departing, the statement reads. These reductions will occur over the coming weeks, with some organizations impacted more than others. Schulman promised the company will treat our departing colleagues with the utmost respect and empathy, provide them with generous packages, engage in consultation where required, and support them with their transitions. No, yeah, not that kind of transition. Anyway, PayPal has become the latest in a caravan of tech giants forced to shed employees due to dropping revenues and a worsening economic outlook, followed by an unprecedented growth during COVID-19 pandemic lockdowns. So, yep, you're going to see a lot of industries do this. A lot. It's not just going to be tech industries, it's going to be all of the above. And why? Because that balloon's going to pop sometime. And I believe it's time. Energy costs pushing French inflation higher. Let's see. Inflation in France accelerated in January as the government phased out some measures to contain soaring energy and food prices, figures reported on Tuesday by NC, the country's statistics agency, show. According to preliminary estimates, the standardized EU measure of price growth rose 7% from a year ago after a 6.7% increase in December. The report indicated that inflation, which was in line with expectations, jumped after the government wound back a subsidy for car fuel at the end of the year. Adding further pressure on energy costs was a 15% hike in government-set regulated gas prices at the start of the year, according to Reuters. Regulated power prices are also set to rise 15% in February, the outlet reported. Meanwhile, economists, I'll get it right, expect inflation in France to start easing once increases in energy prices subside. Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire has said the country's top economic priority was to bring down energy prices and spiraling inflation. He expects inflation to abate from the middle of 2023 onwards. Yeah. Just a damn shame that those energy companies that are bragging about their record profits, nothing they can do. It's just the damnedest thing. I don't know. Food prices in Britain hit record highs, says data. Food inflation in the UK soared to a new record of 16.7% in the 4 weeks of January. Even basics such as milk, butter, cheese, eggs, and dog food became much more expensive, according to new figures released by market researcher Kantar on Tuesday. Speaking about that, I was telling the landlord today that that's like Jen and I. When we get toilet paper, you guys know this, we buy it in bulk. We buy a case, 80 rolls of toilet paper. Sometimes it's 96, but I haven't seen the 96 roll box in quite some time. But anyway, we buy an 80 roll. They're individually wrapped because they're made, it's for institutional use. And hey, I mean, if you don't think I belong in an institution, well, you haven't been around long enough. Anyway, so that's how we get our toilet paper. We also, anything we can in bulk. When I got body wash, we bought a case of it, 24 bottles of it, right? Because when you're getting it at $1.25 a bottle, why not? But anyway, what was the other thing I was talking about? The toilet paper, and what else did we buy bulk? Buy everything bulk. We don't eat very many eggs, but anytime I buy eggs, I buy the 60, the carton of 60 eggs. Nah. Yeah, I am too. Anyway. I squirreled myself to death. So anyway, yeah, just, dog food. That's what I was getting to. Dog food. So when we were on there, looking where we could get the best deal on toilet paper, which unusually was Walmart, they actually had the better deal. Usually it's Amazon. I can usually find a little better deal on the case of toilet paper, but it was Walmart. And so I thought, the hell of it, I'm going to take a look at what Walmart wants for dog food, because hell, that's $50 and $60 for like a 44-pound bag of pedigree in most places. And I'll be damned if I didn't pull it up. And I think it was the chicken kind of the adult. They had a 44-pound bag for like 27 something. It was like, you better believe it. hop on that. It is insane what the prices are here now. And I'm hearing, as far as the United States is concerned, that we're going to see rising. Things aren't going to be coming down. They're going to be going up. And that's pretty much going to be an across-the-board thing. Some things are going to come back down, but that was only because they were so grossly inflated, like the cost of houses, the cost of vehicles, stuff like that. And there's going to be a hell of a lot of underwater people, and I think already are, actually. But, man, I mean, a lot of this stuff, especially the economic stuff, we really haven't even entered yet. And that's the scary thing, and that's why I'm saying we need to be prepared for a completely different reality in this country. We need to be able to be prepared for this to be a third world country. If that winds up being the case, yeah, we can come back from it, but it's not going to be an overnight thing. And it's going to be rough living for possibly multiple generations. I mean, I'm just looking at it realistically here. I know the whole prepper fantasy thing, that doesn't really fit with going out and getting a new armor vest and another AR-15, but it is what it is. It's not like, I've said it a ton of times, it's not like there's not any records of accounts that we can go look at to know what happens. What happens is a far cry away from a lot of these prepper fantasies. And a lot less exciting, and a hell of a lot more painful in every way. Like I've said, if you think that your most common interaction with other people are going to involve a firefight, you live in the wrong damn place. I live in a town of just under 10,000 people. I don't think that it's going to be like that. I don't live 10 miles out in the country with no neighbors for 2 miles. I live in town. It's not going to be like that. Are you going to have incidents? Yeah, everywhere. Absolutely. Is it going to be ugly in big cities? Yep. That's why I say get the hell out of the big cities. Not a big city. Not a big city. Again, there will be incidents. Damn well believe that. But that stuff is going to get curbed real damn quick around here. Just saying. A lot of the right kind of people that live here, they won't put up with that kind of nonsense. So a lot of boomers. Let me just be straight. A lot of boomers. And, with boomers comes boomers. So, that's the way it works. Well, anyway. Then, as well in the UK, biggest strike in a decade hits the UK. The largest strike in the UK in over a decade began on Wednesday as more than 500,000 workers walked off the job to protest pay rises that fail to keep pace with inflation, pension issues, and brutal working conditions. While the length and intensity of the strikes vary by industry, participants plan to walk out en masse in a show of solidarity. These include 300,000 teachers from England and Wales National Education Union who claim to have seen their real terms pay slashed by 23% or more since 2010. 2 Scottish teachers' unions and 70,000 university workers. Also striking are 100,000 train and bus drivers and 100,000 civil servants hailing from over 100 departments from Coast Guards to the Department of Work and Pensions. The failure of pay rises to keep pace with the cost of living is a primary driver of the unrest, with inflation continuing at near record highs across the UK, despite officials' promises to rein it in, while average public sector pay, excluding bonuses, rose 2.7% between August and October, and private sector pay increased 6.9% during that period. Inflation exceeded 10%, leaving most workers earning effectively less than they had been. Same thing is happening here. And again, I don't see it getting better. You're damn well not going to be making more. And the cost of stuff isn't going to be coming down. The reason I think they're already up Schitt's Creek is because it hit them a little bit harder. Because, well, they got to make up for all the energy that they're not importing now. And so the cost of that energy has gone up just an insane amount. And that's going to affect everything else. When you have to pay more for fuel, when you have to pay more for electricity, for heat, that stuff is going to hit your wallet when you go to the store. Again, I don't see a good way forward. And it's not just the United States either. There's several nations. I don't see a good way forward. I think, to be real honest, I think the powers that be got us by the balls. They got us right where they want us. And the only way out of it, the only way out of their trap is for us to completely disconnect. But you have to understand what that's doing. You have to be able to provide yourself with 100% of what you need to sustain yourself. Now, I don't know many of us that are at that level yet. I don't think I'd ever be. I'll try. I won't give up. But to be 100% self-sustainable, just me, myself, and I, not going to happen, homie. That's prepper fantasy crap. Russia sanctions may jeopardize U.S. gasoline supply, says Bloomberg. I thought the Russian sanctions was to hurt them. America's eastern states may face gasoline shortages this summer due to the EU's ban on petroleum products from Russia, Bloomberg reported on Tuesday. According to the report, U.S. seasonal gasoline storages are currently at their lowest levels in a decade. At the same time, the need for more careful maintenance of oil refineries in winter months is likely to further deplete reserves. Although the U.S. is a net exporter of gasoline, most of the supply excess is on its Gulf Coast. Transporting the fuel to the East Coast is hard to do to insufficient pipeline capacity and the high cost of shipping. The region, therefore, traditionally relies on deliveries from Europe, especially during the summer. Yeah, that doesn't make sense, does it? Yeah, I didn't think so. But okay. We'll go with your word. The EU ban on Russian oil products, which comes into force on February 5th, may limit Europe's ability to provide itself with the fuel and send it on, the U.S. Bloomberg notes. This could lead to a fresh spike in gasoline prices, with consumers still reeling from last year's $5 a gallon fuel costs at the pump. You know, those fuel costs that Exxon are celebrating. I told you about that yesterday, last night's show, about Exxon and their record profits. But there was nothing they could do, man. Their hands were tied, man. Couldn't do nothing about it, man. Dave's not here. Netanyahu offers himself as Russia-Ukraine mediator, and I thought that was kind of funny, especially considering the next story I'm going to cover, but we'll go with this for now. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, because I like to say it that way, has suggested that he might be willing to mediate peace negotiations to help resolve the Russia-Ukraine crisis. If U.S. President Joe Biden's administration doesn't object, I object, I don't give a damn. That's pretty much how that would go. I asked by all relevant parties, I'll certainly consider it, but I'm not pushing myself in, Netanyahu said on Tuesday in a CNN interview. I've been around long enough to know that there has to be a ripe time and the ripe circumstances. If they arise, I'll certainly consider it. Well, you may, but I don't think they will. I think Russia tolerates Israel. I think that's about the extent of it. Anyway, Russia issues warning to Israel. Anyone so much as speculating about sending weapons to Ukraine is escalating the conflict, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said in a response to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. In an interview to CNN on Tuesday, Netanyahu said he did not rule out the possibility of sending Iron Dome missiles defense systems to Kiev, something his predecessor rejected outright. You know, the same interview that he said that, he would negotiate. All countries that supply weapons to Ukraine should understand that we will consider these weapons to be legitimate targets for Russian armed forces, Zakharova told reporters in Moscow. Any attempts, implemented or even unrealized but announced, for the supply of additional, new or some other weapons have led and will lead to an escalation of this crisis, and everyone should be aware of this, she added. So, anyway, that's kind of where that's at. So I know I kind of tried to make himself look like he was willing to be a shining knight of armor. But that's really not the case. It's Netanyahu. I mean, come on. In my opinion, he's right there up with the ranks of Biden and the Pope and the royal family, and thanks but no thanks. China-Russia relationship a threat, says NATO. I wonder why that is. China and Russia are leading an authoritarian pushback against the international rules-based order. Now let's stop. Let's stop and let's analyze that for a second, shall we? We shall. China and Russia are leading an authoritarian. Now, when I think of the word authoritarian, I think about how the hell I can't say it, and then I think, this is this individual that is trying to rule over my life. I really don't think so much of it as these two individuals so much. I don't know. It's harder for me to think of it when it's two separate nations as authoritarian. Because, well, it's two different ones. Even if they have the same values pushing for the same things, it's still not just one entity, right? Given they could be authoritarian still, this just doesn't feel right in this instance. And then it goes on to say, against the international rules-based order. You don't say. Did the Pleiadians leave us this rule book or something? Bigfoot left it. That's what it was. Bigfoot left the tablet that has the rules for the international rules-based order on it. Wait a minute. I thought we were all sovereign nations. And as long as we aren't, like, directly harming the people of our own nations, I thought it was, like, supposed to be nobody else's damn business. So, I just wanted to point that out. That just doesn't even make any sense. Anyway, we shall continue. Goes on to say their expanding ties pose a security threat that Western powers and their Asian allies must address together, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has claimed. The fact that Russia and China are coming closer and the significant investments by China and new advanced military capabilities just underlines that China poses a threat, poses a challenge also to NATO allies. Stoltenberg said on Tuesday in a speech in Tokyo, "Security is not regional but global. NATO needs to make sure we have friends. It is important to work more closely with our partners in the Indo-Pacific," added the NATO chief. So, you can bet that the United States is going to keep poking the dragon as well as poking the bear. That's not going to stop. Okay. Couple more articles here and then we'll get to some headlines. I need a vape though. Oh, man. Fun times. Amazon. Watchman. Uh-oh. We're out of diesel fuel. We are officially out of diesel fuel. I hear it shutting off. It's okay. We've got heaters. We'll be fine. We just got to go get some. Anyway, squirrel. Where was I? Hell, I don't even know where I was now. I squirrel myself all the time. You would think, how in the hell does this guy ever figure out anything if he can't maintain a thought about something for 2 minutes? I can, especially if I'm working on something. Amazon. I was talking about Amazon. Yeah, I'm gonna be helping base. Damn. I think Amazon's got control of me now. Damn you. Anyway, I'm gonna be helping Bezos build another big boner as soon as EcoFlow gives me my beta testing reward. I'm looking at getting I'm replacing my video card is what I'm planning on doing, and that's gonna go two ways. Not only will I have a better video card, one that's actually doable for VR if later on down the road I luck out and can get a VR headset. The video card should be good enough for that. Well, anyway, that's what I'm doing with it. And I'm going to take the video card I'm currently using, and it's going to go in Jen's computer because, well, even though it's a better card than what the motherboard can technically handle, it's backwards compatible, so she'll be able to use it. What I'm going to do is sometime down the road, I'm probably, because when I built this computer, I built it with headroom on purpose. That way I knew that I could go up in video card, I could go up in processor, and then I had a lot of headroom to do so. Well, so that will be the next thing down the road if I get to it. Those aren't too bad price-wise, processors. And so then that happens, then I'll upgrade my processor. This processor will go back in the box that it came in, and then as soon as I get a motherboard, I'll start building Jen a new computer, and she'll have a The video card I've got in this computer now is way more than she'd ever need. However, when it comes to VR, when it comes to flight sim, it's on the very, very, very low end. And the card that I'm looking at getting, a 360 Ti, is only going to put me not even quite middle ways. But it'll be good enough. I don't have to have the Lamborghini, right? I just don't want the Ford Escort. I don't have to have the Lamborghini. As long as I can get out of the Escort, I'm good. Even if I can get, a Lincoln Town Car with a little bit of room in it. It don't have to be fast. It just has to be suitable. Anyway, I can't wait. I'm really like a kid in a candy shop because I know what that simulator looks like with higher settings. And I'm anxious. And damn it, I put pretty much every single dime that I could into prepping one form or another. And for a change, I'm going to do something for me. And so, but it's not just for me. Like I say, these parts are going to get handed down. And Jenna wind up with a kick-ass. I mean, she's got my old one. That thing's, I don't know, 11 years or something old. And, yeah, it's just old. She needs a new one. So, anyway, we will get there. Yeah, I haven't drove a Ford Escort in so damn long. Unreal. Let's see. Oh yeah. Back to reality, this crap. FBI searches another Biden home for documents, because I'm telling them they need to really check any sleazy looking convenience store between, say, like DC and Vegas. You want to go into the bathroom, look around the condom machine or something, see if there's any classified documents or laptops. Every single sleazy looking bathroom. Because you'll probably find a few. So I'm not going to read this. This stuff. And I don't know, the reason why I even put this up, to be honest, wasn't really to read it, because, hell, it's worse than a freaking soap opera. But I don't know what the hell the point of all this is. That's what I'm trying to... I figure it's a circus sideshow like everything else we're allowed to see. But, I'm a miss as to what the point is. I don't know if they're doing this to get Biden out or what's up with this. I don't know. But it's insanity. I know that. University up in arms at ChatGPT. This is the last tab I have open. And apparently this is becoming a real issue for universities. The Russian State University for the Humanities, RGGU, has called for the restricted access to ChatGPT after a student successfully presented a diploma thesis written by the program. The AI-powered bot has garnered increasingly widespread attention for its text generation abilities. The scandal unfolded after a graduate student with the university took to Twitter to share his experience of using ChatGPT to write his diploma thesis on management. In a lengthy thread, the student explained how he had circumvented text-length restrictions, although also sharing insights into how to use the program to get a coherent text. The thesis was successfully presented at the university. The student admitted that he received only a minimal passing grade, blaming that result on other factors, namely laughing at the purportedly sloppy presentations by other graduates. All in all, it took the student around 23 hours to write his thesis, compared to several weeks spent by his fellow students on their work, according to the thread. The stunt has received a mixed reception from the Twitter crowd. Some have praised the student for his ingenuity, while others have accused him of cheating. Several users were so enraged by the trick that they wrote complaints to the RGGU and the Russian Education Ministry, calling on officials to investigate and annul the thesis altogether. The university was quick to condemn the student, urging the authorities to restrict access to ChatGPT for educational facilities. It was not immediately clear how exactly the RGGU seeks to achieve that, given that ChatGPT's developers have already restricted access to the chatbot for Russian users. So, they're going to get around it, plain and simple. There's really, when it comes to that, it's just like a lock on your door. You're only going to keep the honest people out. Somebody that really wants to do it's going to do it. So, man. Fun. Let's do some headlines and get the hell out of here. I'll go to bed hoping I wake up to an email from EcoFlow. Anyway, let's see. They said by the 3rd, so, we're getting there. By the 3rd, not on the 3rd, by the 3rd, so. Let's see. Covered that, and that. Netanyahu explains Iran approach. He's going to Iran-splain you. Key Donbass city faces encirclement, says an official. A consumption killer in Germany revealed. Probably those folks that are sitting in the pubs. But anyway, researchers recreate dinosaur killer tsunami. Well, you didn't actually recreate it because we're still here. Let's see. Russia sanctions may jeopardize U.S. Oh, I covered that. Kiev's ombudsman, because we all know what an ombudsman is, calls for more curbs on Russian language. What the hell is an ombudsman, right? I would think that's somebody like a bud tender at a weed bar or something, right? An official appointed to investigate individuals' complaints against maladministration, especially that of public authorities. So definitely not a bud tender. Definitely not a bud tender. Just making sure. Check. Go back. Wait. Let's see. Russian oil price cap countermeasure comes into force. Russia hits back at U.S. over nuclear arms treaty accusations. Hungary explains army reform amid denatofication criticism. Yeah, something like that. Pfizer shares plummet along with demand for COVID drugs. Imagine that. More information comes out, less people step in line. It's amazing. U.S. denies misuse of American aid in Ukraine. Like they're going to admit it? Come on. South Korea to test fire high-power rocket, says media. Russia ramps up EU-bound gas transit via Ukraine. Ex-minister and former Zelensky backer targeted in anti-corruption raids. Kremlin predicts enthusiasm for burning NATO tanks. Disneyland for investors is over, Nassim Taleb warns. UK publisher refuses royalties to Russian photographer. U.S. national arrested for walking Dr. Calf in Red Square. Apparently she was an animal rights activist or whatever in Moscow and got arrested for it because, well, she's a dumbass. Ukraine attacks pipeline pumping Russian oil to the EU, says Transneft. Controversial Russian journalist sentenced for military fakes. I mean, that'd be like going to Iran and having a pride parade down like the capital city of Iran's main street, right? Probably not going to go over real well. Mozart Group training Ukrainian troops has ended, says founder. Covered that. EU-owned tankers boost Russian oil shipments. Endangered animal may be mating itself to death, says a study. No, it's not humans either, although they tried. Netanyahu offers himself as Russia. Oh, I covered that. By the way, there's not a lot of things that I look at, especially when it comes to studies and stuff like that, that I wished I knew a little more. And believe it or not, this story, I wished I knew a little more. It's about, what are those little buggers called? Hang on. Northern quail. A northern quail. And apparently this poor guy spends most of his time trying to get laid. I'm just being honest. That's the fact. Spends most of his time trying to get laid, and in fact only spends about 8% of his time resting, and majority of the rest of the time is spent trying to get laid. And they try so long and so hard to get laid that by the time they actually get laid, their body's already done, and they die, right? And so they're kind of trying to figure out why. And my question is, well, if you take them out of the wild and if you put a male in captivity and let him get a piece without having to go through all that work, will he still die at a young age? That's what I want to know. Because why? Because I like science, and science is asking questions, unlike what Dr. Fauci thinks. It's about asking questions, and well, I just would like to see a way that these little fuckers could fuck some more. I don't know. I just I'm sorry. I normally don't get that bad, but I do. I want to know. I want to know more. I want to know more. I am so grounded. All right. I am so wrong sometimes. Let's see. Putin sets mission for Russian military. Okay, I thought that was pretty obvious. EU sanctions blocked Nord Stream repairs, says the company. China-Russia relationship a threat, says NATO chief. Oh, I covered that one. Abortions on the decline in Russia, says minister. EU country draws the line at fighter jets to Ukraine. Ukraine official alleges Twitter conspiracy. Russia issues warning to Israel. Oh, I covered that, sorry. Russia ambassador comments on normal U.S. diplomacy. Erdogan comments on tanks for Ukraine. Lots of commenting going on. U.S. drone maker offers Kiev $1 deal with a catch. Yeah, it's like some 18 million or something. I don't know. Let's see. U.S. Navy stops gruesome experiments. U.S. makes diplomatic move targeting China. And Israeli jets strike Gaza. That headline came in while the intro was... Or, no, I guess it was after the intro. I think. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway. Like I said, just keep getting ready. Start putting those sights far out in front. Right? Really far out in front. I would say do your best to have nothing short of a minimum, an absolute bare minimum of 6 months of food. a year would be even more ideal, and if you can store a couple of years, well, that's great. But make sure that you're putting your sights out far. In other words, make sure you're putting back seeds. Make sure you're mentally preparing yourself to do whatever you need to do to reposition yourself to be able to be a producer. Okay? In other words, if you're in a position where you can't have a garden, mentally prepare yourself and understand that, I don't know how the hell I did that. Mentally prepare yourself and understand that it's probably going to come down to that. It's probably going to come down to those in your community working together to be able to produce enough sustenance so that those remaining can continue to survive. That's the reality of it. What your goal is to be able to be taken care of during the rough parts of that transition so that you don't have to be out there while the craziness is going on. Again, everywhere will experience craziness, but it's just not going to be like the movies. Not going to happen like that. The only way it would is if we had one defining event that put us into an SHTF. And while that's possible, I think it's much, much more likely that we're going to just continue this slow roll off the cliff like we have been the last few years. I don't think much is going to change as far as that rolling off the cliff. We'll see. Just make sure you're putting them sights out far enough. Anyway, I am going to get the hell out of here so that I can get finished up and go to bed, and hopefully I can order me a video card when I wake up. Anyway, I hope you all have a good evening. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow. I hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.